Here's some quotes. The importance of this orientation really is, again, to give you an opportunity to think about not only what you're doing in your departments, but also what you're doing in terms of the broader community, the college community. So thinking about how some things may seem like mundane tasks that you're doing, but how they really are beneficial and helpful to the college and provide us some really important services. And why it's important to have an orientation is just, again, for us to share with you kind of our expectations, as well as how we see and value you because of what you're doing for the college. Oops, sorry, too many screens. As you think about your particular roles within your departments, we also want you to think about how you connect to others within your department. So obviously you're connecting to faculty members, you're connecting to potentially students within the department, but then also to think about how different departments might work together or schools work together to really provide some important help across the different areas. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the mission and vision of the college. So the mission of the college is to educate and empower future practitioners and leaders. So all of you have taken an important step in coming to the university. Again, obviously we have a whole range. Some of you might be freshmen all the way up to doctoral students, but you've all taken an important step in terms of becoming a future leader. And so we hope you use this opportunity as a graduate assistant and or student worker to use those leadership skills, both in what you do in your everyday practice in the departments and the college and department, but also to think about it, how you can use it outside of your particular area. And then the vision, as you can see, is to be a dynamic and diverse community committed to fostering authentic and innovative educational research and service opportunities. So again, it's really about us getting to know one another, getting to know our strengths and our challenges, and being a big support to one another. So all of you are located within a department or a school, but you may not be aware of the fact that within the College of Education and Human Services, there are actually 7 different departments and schools. We have our counselor education and college student personnel department, and that's actually located in the Quad Cities campus. The home office, if you will, is located in the Quad Cities campus. We do have our college student personnel program. We have a group that's up in the Quad Cities, as well as an option that's here in Macomb. So we do have representatives on both campuses, but that's our first department within the college. Our second department in the college is actually a school, I guess, is our School of Education. And our School of Education has a number of undergraduate as well as graduate programs. The graduate programs in the School of Education include our curriculum and instruction master's degree. We have a master's, a specialist, and a doctorate in educational leadership. We have an educational studies master's degree, a reading master's degree, a special education master's degree, and then our TESOL post-baccalaureate certificate. In terms of our undergraduate programs within the School of Education, and the reason I'm talking to you about this is partly because we are hoping that you will, if somebody calls your department or your school and they're looking for, they call you, but they're really not sure who they need to be speaking to, that by sharing with some of this with you, this will give you some information to share with somebody that you might be talking to on the phone. So in terms of our education programs, we do have our elementary education, which has options in early childhood, as well as our multilingual and ESL options. We have our middle level education program. So those are for people who are interested in being middle school teachers. Our special education program, our dual special education elementary education program, our physical education program. Oops, sorry, that's out of kinesiology. That was my mistake there. And then our educational studies program. So lots of different programs located in our School of Education. Next, in terms of our department, we have our Health Sciences and Social Work department. Within our Health Sciences and Social Work department, we have a graduate program in health sciences with an option in public health or school health. And then we also have another post-baccalaureate certificate in health services administration. In terms of the undergraduate programs, we have undergraduate programs in public health, in health services administration, as well as in social work. So a number of different programs within that particular area. In terms of our Department of Kinesiology, we have two graduate programs. We have our sports management graduate program, and then we also have our kinesiology graduate program. In terms of our undergraduate programs, we have nutrition and dietetics, nutrition and food service management, and our exercise science program in the Department of Kinesiology. Our largest school / department is our School of Law Enforcement and Justice Administration, which does have a graduate program in public safety administration. And they also have a post-baccalaureate certificate in police executive administration. Their undergraduate programs include our law enforcement, LEJA, Law Enforcement and Justice Administration program, our fire science program, as well as our emergency management program. We also have in the college, you may or may not be aware, our military science department. And while they don't have any programs, graduate or undergraduate programs, they do have a minor in military science, and that is where our ROTC program is located. And then finally, our last department within the college is our Recreation, Park, and Tourism Administration department. And they have a master's degree in Recreation, Park, and Tourism Administration, as well as an undergraduate degree in Recreation, Park, and Tourism Administration. So that gives you a little bit of information about the different programs. So how many, and you can put in your chat what your answers are. How many different buildings do you think the college is located in? So we have 7 departments, but how many buildings do you think we're located in? Do we have any takers? Anyone in our chat room? No brave people? Ooh, we have 15, 3. Okay, good. 6. Okay, 10. All right, so we're looking, it looks like 3, 4, 5 is about the most common. So I'll tell you which buildings we're in. So we're located in Horben Hall. That's where the dean's office is located, as well as education. We're located in Curran's Hall. That is where our PTA program is located. We're located in Brophy. So now we're at 3, Brophy Hall, which is where our kinesiology is located. We're located in Stipes Hall, which is where health sciences and social work, as well as our law enforcement and justice administration. And we're located in Knobloch Hall, which is where our dietetics, as well as some of our PTA. And technically we're in Tillman too, which is our crime lab is located, and then in the Quad Cities. So I guess you could say maybe, right, 6 or 7, depending on whether we count the crime lab. That's the only room that we have in Tillman Hall. So many of you are pretty close, but you may not have realized that we were across that many different areas. So again, somebody might come into the office when you're working and say, where is this place located? Hopefully, maybe you have a little better idea of where it might be located. Okay, I'm talking a lot and talking fast, aren't I? Well, I want to, before I turn it over to Lisa, just to share with you some things to think about and tips to help you think about being successful as in your particular roles. Make sure that you're aware of what your different tasks are. And if you're not sure, ask whether it's the chair of the department or the director of the department or your office administrator, office manager. Make sure that you know what you're doing and what your different tasks are. And don't be afraid to ask. Sometimes we make assumptions that you know what you're supposed to be doing, and we don't always know. I do that myself. Sometimes I just have to ask, right? Make sure you know who your fellow employees are and get to know them. This again is sort of that connectivity. And hopefully, as you continue to have and we're able to have more interactions with one another, you'll get to know some people across the different departments as well. Think about, and as I said, Jill's going to spend some time with you towards the end of our program. Think about what are the specific benefits of this job. Hopefully, one benefit that you can think about is that because you're starting to develop these relationships with the chair or the office manager, that they might serve as a really great reference for you. So think about that and what you can gain from those different opportunities that you have in terms of your relationship. Hopefully, and if you don't, you might create your own cheat sheets of different offices on campus. Where are some different resources on campus? So again, if you get a call and it's not specifically related to your department, so they're calling about the School of Education, but you're in the kinesiology department, know how you can get them contacted to that different resource. Keep your supervisor informed. Make sure if you aren't able to be at work for a particular reason, make sure that you're keeping your supervisor informed, because we want to make sure that everybody knows where everybody is at. And if you're unsure of where people are within your office, don't be afraid to ask, to say, somebody has called for the dean, what should I tell them? So those kinds of things, make sure you have that. Keep a log of your activities so that you know, again, this will be a great resource for you to go back to when you think about the different benefits. And if you're in an interview and they say, what are some of the things that you've done? By having that log of activities, you'll be able to draw upon that. Because oftentimes we forget, right? 3 days later, what was it that I did 3 days ago? And how is that something that might be beneficial? And do be proactive. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to show some initiative, and think about ways that you can help improve your department and improve your school and make it a better place. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Lisa. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen first. All right. Lisa, I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Daitner. What does it mean to possess good work ethics? Be professional, honest, respectful, and trustworthy. Student assistants are an essential part of the team and are vital to the smooth and efficient functioning of the office. Student assistants will have the opportunity to learn and develop a good work ethic, as well as standard office procedures and etiquette that will be worthwhile for years to come. Student assistants are expected to be punctual and are to contact the office if they're unable to come to work. Duties may consist of, but not limited to, general clerical duties, to include receptionist duties such as answering the phones, taking messages, filing, computer work, handling of student and faculty traffic, some word processing, restock supplies, copying, faxing, shredding, assisting with mailings, inventory, and other duties as assigned. If work is completed, students should check with the supervisor for additional work. Student assistants interact with the university, faculty, staff, administrators, and students on a daily basis as representatives of the College of Education and Human Services. Student employees are expected to interact with contacts in a professional, helpful, and courteous manner. So what type of trainings do I need for my position? Sexual harassment and ethics training are required annual trainings. FERPA is recommended training for those of you who may file information such as copies of student ward reports, transcripts, personnel information that may include salaries or etc. These are all considered to be confidential information and should not be shared with anyone. All information is to be kept strictly confidential. What is FERPA? FERPA is the acronym for Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. The Office of the Registrar offers 2 delivery methods for FERPA training. The training is designed to help faculty and staff understand the act and learn how to comply. The purpose is to provide basic FERPA training for WIU faculty and staff. The university is legally and ethically obligated to protect the confidentiality of student records. It's recommended that you complete the tutorial as you expect to gain the following: knowledge of laws and policies governing acceptable use and release of student records, an understanding of your responsibilities in complying with these laws and policies, an understanding of how to protect a student's right to privacy. To test your understanding of FERPA, at the conclusion of the tutorial, you may take the FERPA quiz. I will include in the chat the link to the tutorial and then also to the quiz for you. There is for the tutorial. And for the quiz. So now if you are a new graduate student or an undergraduate student employee and you've not completed the ethics training, which this is to be completed within 30 days of hire, please log into your STARS account. You'll enter in your login information, select the employee compliance section of the drop-down menu, review the ethics document, check the box indicating that you've carefully read, understood, and intend to comply with the laws, rules, policies, and procedures. If you're unable to check or access the checkbox, please log in using another browser. You should complete this training during the regular work hours as directed by your supervisor. Please be advised that overtime pay will not be provided if you choose on your own to access this training outside of your normal work hours. If you do not have access to a computer and the internet, or if you need other assistance in completing this training, please contact the University Ethics Officer at 298-3070 or email Elizabeth Duvall at el-duvall@wiu.edu. Another training that is mandatory is the sexual harassment training. This should also be completed within 30 days of hire. All university employees are required to complete the online sexual harassment prevention training or refresher course each year. Please be aware that this training is different from the mandatory state ethics tests. This training, which takes approximately an hour to complete, is available by visiting the Office of Equal Opportunity and Access webpage at www.wiu.edu/EOA and click on Training and Programs, then Sexual Harassment Prevention. Once you've completed the lessons, you'll be asked to take the mastery test. After successfully completing the mastery test, you will enter your WIU ID number, your complete name, department, and email address. Once all the information is entered correctly, you must click the submission button in order for your results to be recorded. Failure to click the submit button may result in you having to complete the training again. So with that being said, I'm going to turn this over to Jill.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Daitner and Lisa. And I'm going to share my screen here so that we can talk a little bit about some of those extra benefits of your position that Dr. Daitner talked about earlier. So give me 1 second and I am sharing my screen with you. And get ready for some activities because we're going to have a competition. So as we've said already, this job is not just about your office. It's not just about earning money. This is a really great opportunity for you to develop skills and build your resume so that as you're graduating, you've got some really substantive things on your resume. You've got examples you can talk about as you are doing interviews. And we're excited to help you get there. Again, it's not just about us, it's about you too. And that is a really great partnership that we can have together. And we already know what employers are looking for in employees. So this is like getting the answers to the test ahead of time. So this is a national survey. This one was done in spring of 2021, which is the most recent survey. And this is a survey of employers nationwide. What are they looking for from new college graduates, whether it be their undergraduate degree or their master's degree or their doctoral degree? This is what they're looking for, evidence of these things on your resume. And some of this might sound pretty familiar to you, but we're going to kind of break it down a little bit so that you can get to know that information a little bit better. So like the ability to work in a team, 81% of employers look for this, evidence of this on your resume. And here are a lot of really common job interview questions related to that. Some of these probably sound familiar to you, and some of these might be a little bit new, but they're really what they're trying to gauge, regardless of the words that they're choosing to use to get at the question, is they're trying to gauge your ability to work on a team. The next part is problem solving skills. Again, you're right, for both of these, you're right at that 80% mark of employers looking for this as a skill set of you on your resume and during the interviews. And here are some really common interview questions related to problem solving. And if you think of other questions that you have been asked before about problem solving or group work, throw them in the chat because we can all be learning from each other. And you might even already be able to think of things that you've done in your work in your offices now that you can use as an example to answer some of these questions. And that is a great thing. That's where your needs and our needs are coming together to help you advance. So we are going to put some of your skills to the test. So I'm going to stop sharing here, and in the chat, I am going to drop in a link to a Google form, and we are going to put our problem solving skills and our teamwork to the test. I'll send this to you all so that you can grab this. Go ahead and open up that document. At the same time, I am opening up breakout rooms, and you all are going to go into breakout rooms, work on teams, and you will have 8 minutes to solve as many of these problems as you can. This is a website scavenger hunt. So it really connects to your jobs, things that you might be doing, questions that people might ask when they come into your office, they see you, and there are prizes involved. So get your game face on. All of the rooms are now open, and so I am going to start putting you in those rooms, and I would love to have you with your teammates get started. And go ahead and accept your, if a room pops up in front of you, go ahead and join that. And you can get started on your website scavenger hunt and working together and solving problems by answering these questions. Right. I think everybody is in a room now. Hi, everybody. I know everybody's coming back into the room. Dr. Daitner, will you let me know when people are back?
Yes.
Because that is one part that I cannot see when I am presenting. Oh, great. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had fun with the website scavenger hunt, because it is not just about fame and glory or answering other people's questions. It's also about prizes. And so there are prizes associated with this. So make sure that you submitted that form so that we can get started with everything after this session.
All right, I think everybody's back, Jill.
Perfect, perfect. So you just tackled the first two skills that employers are looking for. You worked with a team and you were problem solving. And so that's really awesome. Again, really great skills that employers are looking for. Evidence of that on your resume. Some of you in your positions also are able to exercise your analytical and quantitative skills muscle, especially if you're doing a research for your department, you're analyzing data. Sometimes that's a little bit more specialized, but
Jill, I think I might have just put them all back in a breakout room. Oh my
that's
goodness,
okay.
I did. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, everybody. Don't let me touch any buttons.
Do you want me to do anything? Are you good?
I don't think so. I think they're all coming back now.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. So as I was saying, some of the analytical skills and quantitative skills, some of you may be able to do that in your position, depending on if you're looking at data, doing research. Sometimes that's a little more specialized and your position may not allow for that. But a skill that everybody's position allows for is communication. And you can see, I mean, we're really talking about 3/4 of employers want to have evidence of your communication skills on your resume. And they're certainly going to be looking for it in your job interviews. But that term communication skills, it's used a lot. And I don't know that we always define it. Actually, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, actually, what are those? What are communication skills? I've really never heard anybody define that. So I went on a little bit of a search to figure out what do communication skills actually need in this context. And I found this really great video that really broke it down for us. So you're getting like the Cliff Note versions because we've already sought out data for you so that you can look at this. I'm also going to advance the video so that you don't listen to the first part. I know I need to get to 1 minute, 6 seconds. There you go.
Number 10 is public speaking and presentation skills. This is probably the most recognizable communication skill of all time. It could be a big presentation or speech, but it could also mean standing up to share a 3-minute message in front of a small group at a meeting. It's unusual that entry-level employees are great at this unless they majored in communication in college. But on the flip side, if you are a strong stand-up speaker, you will instantly separate yourself from the crowd. People see good public speaking and they say to themselves, that's a leader. Number 9 is persuasive skills. Persuasive skills are crucial because we are constantly making requests for approval and support. The most effective persuasive communication usually involves explaining to listeners that there's some need or problem, and then asking them to support your proposed solution. This certainly happens while you're standing up presenting, but this could happen one-on-one as well, or in a group meeting, even in an email or written proposal. Number 8 is interpersonal skills. This is that type of one-on-one communication we do with our friends and significant others. At work, we interact one-on-one with colleagues, supervisors, and subordinates. There are constant demands on task-related communication, like dealing with facts, figures, and spreadsheets, all while working under pressure. This context makes it all the more important that we take the time to also interact in supportive and respectful ways to create mutual understanding and satisfying connections. Number 7 is listening skills. This is perhaps the most underrated communication skill I know of. Good listening is a hidden superpower. This involves removing distractions, tuning in, and preparing yourself to absorb the other communicator's message. This could be listening carefully to learn a new skill or important information, or it could be listening to be a supportive ear and build genuine relationships at work. I have heard it said that good leaders are good listeners. Closely related is number 6, communicating with empathy. This cuts across all communication contexts. Empathy is our ability to put ourselves in the other person's shoes to feel what they might be feeling. That empathy helps us understand where people are coming from, and it builds trust. When we care and keep other people's interests in mind, we are very likely to create more helpful outcomes. 5 is providing and accepting feedback. As a supervisor, you will have to provide your employees with feedback to help them develop. And we can't just point out their mistakes. Constructive feedback should include some specific coaching to help people make improvements. It's equally important to hear and receive feedback. It's easy to get defensive, especially when feedback is not explained in a helpful way. But if you can learn to be open to feedback and find something helpful in it, others will count it as a valuable communication skill. And 4th is teamwork and collaboration in groups. Working in teams is exponentially more complicated than working one-on-one. People who are good in groups have good task skills like asking good questions, providing helpful information, offering a point of view. And relationship dynamics are also important, like encouraging and supporting others and staying positive. Nowadays, it's hard to picture getting promoted if we aren't good with groups and teams. 3 is nonverbal communication skills. And this isn't a separate skill. It overlaps all the others we've mentioned. Still, our nonverbal communication creates a powerful impression on others. Our nonverbals give off a vibe that shades everything we say and do. I know a guy who frequently rolled his eyes and made frustrated facial expressions at meetings. His supervisor finally talked to him about it, and he honestly didn't even realize he was doing it. Our nonverbal communication and body language can be so automatic. But like the others on the list, we can make improvements with some self-awareness and practice. And number 2 is phone skills. Since we are not face-to-face on the phone, we notice other people's tone of voice and timing much more than usual. If somebody pauses for too long, it can create the impression that something went wrong. So somebody with good phone skills might fill that pause with helpful information and say, give me a moment, I'm looking something up. People with good phone skills make small adjustments in their words and their tone to create a helpful, more well-rounded interaction. And number 1, and remember, these are not in order, I'm just counting it down for fun. Number 1 is written skills. This could be emails, reports, a proposal. People will give you credit for good written skills if you're organized, clear, and concise, just like the other communication skills. Now, unlike the other real-time communication skills, you can put a written message aside and come back to it later and revise it before sending it. So a word to the wise, never send the first draft of an important message. Set it aside and revise it before you click send. Let's look at this whole list. Yes, there are certainly other communication skills. But when people ask the question, what are communication skills? This list gives you the top 10 that employers believe are most important. So question of the day, which?
Okay, so I hope that that helps a bit as you think a little about communication skills, think about how you can develop those in the workplace. Gosh, even looking at that video, I saw so many ways that you could, in your position, that I can, in my position, be developing those skills. So in a moment, I will be dropping in the chat here for you. I always have a little bit of trouble with my mouse getting to where I want to go. All right, so in the chat, I have another resource that I found really helpful in developing communication skills. And that is when you have meetings with your supervisor. Now, everybody's position is probably quite different in this. Sometimes it's just reporting back to your supervisor at the end of your work shift. Some supervisors have a weekly meeting with you or every couple of weeks. But if you click in the chat on that article, I just want to make sure that you can open it. So if you open that, between the video and that article, I think that may help you identify ways that you can be working on your communication skills. And I'm going to give you all back in your breakout rooms a chance to kind of talk with each other and brainstorm, because you are in the positions right now and you're really able to help each other figure out how you can work on these skills, especially those of you who have been in your position for a little while, and talking with people that are maybe new to their position and helping them figure out how to start working on these skills. Again, our goal is that you are developing your resume, you're developing examples for upcoming job interviews, not just earning some money and not just taking on some tasks for an office. And so I am putting you back in your breakout rooms. I'm opening all those rooms now. And so you can join your room and talk a little bit about that.